50-50 is not just monetary. 50-50 is effort.
It's not 50-50. 50-50 is not realistic. And I would agree and disagree because I think in general, the average is 50-50, but the everyday is never going to be 50-50.
My people, we are back with 50-50 conversation. Mm-hmm. We are back. And what is bringing us back to 50-50 conversation? So this dude was, their normal podcast, them talking and talking and talking. You know what they do. So he talked and he was like, it doesn't feel like men are supposed to provide financially and doesn't even believe that you should do 50-50, that sometimes a woman can bring 80 and he can bring 20. It depends on who has at the moment. And because of their popular, I think Monet is the girlfriend's name, and they kind of like people started talking like, "Oh, Monet, blink twice if you need help, or can you be with a man that's not going to provide for you? Why should he come on podcast and say all of that?" Let me roll some clip for you all to watch to the end, and I'll be back at the end of the video.
50-50 is not just monetary. 50-50 is effort.
It's not 50-50. 50-50 is not realistic. And I would agree and disagree because I think in general, the average is 50-50, but the everyday is never going to be 50-50. Because if I'm in my relationship with my girlfriend, like, I got 20 today, baby. You got to pick up 80. I got it, babe. Like that partnership and that. But over time, the average should reach 50-50. That's what the idea of partnership is to me is every day is not 50-50 because some days I don't have it. Some days you don't have it. Some days I have too much and some days you have too much. And then we can take over the world that day. But like the average should be 50-50, but the everyday is always going to be different.
This might be too much math, but like you said, you say you have 20. That 20 better be your 100.
Oh yeah.
Like you can't just decide that I'm just gonna give 20.
Yeah.
Give everything you got, and if that's 20%, then your partnership.
Exactly. If you wake up and say I got 20 today, and you show it, and you only give 20%, like it's your point. You better give 100% to make that 20.
Exactly.
But yeah, I get the math you're putting down. But yeah, it's to pay all the bills. Men are expected to pay for all the dates. Men are expected to pay for your nails, hair, all these things. In today's economy,
it's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so the thought is, it's like, why is that the norm? Why is that the expectation? What does a provider mean? Like, in my opinion, a provider doesn't mean someone who's going to pay financially for everything. That's not a provider to me. I think, when someone becomes the mother of your kids or someone's raising, then there's a partnership that, is communicated and talked about and understood. And if the partnership agrees on, hey, you're going to be the stay-at-home parent.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out and chase this bag. That then is where financial, I think, moves under that umbrella of providership or being a provider.
My people, let me just ask a question. I will always ask questions. Let me ask a question. Should we be bothered when couples that they show us that they are doing well, they show us that they are happy, when we later find out that they are doing 50-50, should we think that there's problem in the relationship, or we should just let them be, right? Because people were really talking that maybe she's not happy, and why would a man be saying that he doesn't want to provide food. He doesn't believe that men should be the one providing financially because there are other ways for you to provide, not just financially, and you should provide mentally, emotionally as well. It doesn't have to be financially. And of course, if you have, you should do. And if it doesn't have at that moment, you can help out and all of that. Well, some people were like, this is just so true. Sometimes women do not want man to provide for them financially because they are doing well themselves. So they don't need money from the man. They just need that emotional support. They just need somebody to be there for them when they are down. Everybody knows what they need in a relationship, right? And everybody knows what is working for them. So should we be bothered when we see couples that they look happy on social media, and we find out that they are actually doing 50-50, or we find out that the man is not actually providing 100? Or what is it with man providing 100 in a relationship? Does it make sense? Can a man provide 100, or should you just provide 50 and the woman providing 100? Like this whole 50-50 conversation is very, very deep and wide. I just feel like everybody knows what they want in a relationship. But then I have few reactions to share with you. Everybody, almost everybody's just giving their 2 cents on this whole topic. So I kind of gathered some videos for you all to watch. So let's watch the videos together, and I'll be back to share my thoughts at the end of the video.
Zero shade intended, but I'm not letting someone with pearls around their neck, plats in their head redefine what being a provider means. And I actually get so annoyed when I see y'all try to like dilute the meaning of a provider. Y'all can say all day long, a provider isn't just someone that provides for you financially. They need to provide for you emotionally. What about people who provide for you spiritually, mentally, all of those things? The essence of being a provider is being able to provide financially. Let's just get to that, please. Like, I understand the other things are very important and necessary, but when we say we're looking for a provider, we're not talking about someone that can provide emotional support. Because how many people in our lives do that for us already? Like, if you have a community around you and you have a good group of friends, you have supportive family, and they just provide you emotional support, mental support, spiritual support, are you considering them providers? You're not. So let's not be dense. And when we're talking about needing a provider, that we're not talking about providing financially. That is the essence of what being a provider is. Yes, everyone has different relationships and different dynamics. The 50-50 conversation is so tiring. It's so exhaustive. We're done. It is what it is. Do what works for you. But like, when y'all start like trying to change meaning of words, that's where you lose me every time.
I really do not like when y'all make me get on the internet and defend a man. But what is going on with these Jalen comments? Because why are you looking at a clip of a man talking to other men on a podcast saying that there are more ways than just paying for everything to be a provider and to make your woman feel loved for and cared for, and saying that he's soft and he pays for absolutely nothing and that Monae should be embarrassed? Huh? He simply said there are other ways to be a provider and it doesn't necessarily mean paying for everything. He never said he doesn't pay for anything. Oh my God. Now, I don't know these people and I don't know the way their relationship works, but I do know that a lot of women are talking about how they want emotional intelligence in a partner, how they want to feel seen and heard and loved, even if it's not just money. And then you have a podcast with a man talking to other men, hopefully younger men who are trying to learn from him about this very subject, and you all clown him and say he's an embarrassment. I just don't understand that. So I don't know, y'all. Like, do you want men or do you just want to marry an ATM? More power to you either way, but I just didn't see it for these comments. I don't know what y'all are talking about.
I got it, babe. Like that partnership and that, but over time, the average should reach 50-50. Exactly. That's what the idea.
Okay, while everyone is talking about his views on 50-50 relationships, I'm going to touch on him saying over time. If you do want my views on 50-50 relationships, it's my pinned video with 400k views. Okay, over time. Most women never see the other side when they're with a man that promises them something in the future. A lot of men will convince and manipulate you into thinking that you putting 70%, you putting 80%, and sometimes 100%, it's okay because I got you in the future. Over time, I'm going to pay you back with love, attention, marriage, or whatever you want out of that relationship. And for the 1, 2, 3+ years that you are sacrificing, bending over backwards, doing more than you feel like you should because he's not pulling his weight in those places, when that man gets to where he wants to be, when he receives what he wants out of you, when he's in a place that he wants in life, he can just say, well, thank you for the ride and thank you for your help, but I got to move on. I'm going to go after my dream girl. While I was doing 20%, I was doing 100% for myself. I'm not going to marry you, and we're not going to have a family, and I'm not going to give you what I told you I was going to get you in the end. There was no average over time. And that's the case for most women, unfortunately. Monae is 24 years old. This man is like 7 years her senior. I'd be damned if the man that is much more senior than I am, that has had more time on earth to figure things out, is expecting me to put more effort into the finances of our relationship. That's just me though. But if she like it, I love it. But this is an important discussion to be had because the reality is most men say that and then women in the end get screwed over. There is never an average. It's never truly 50-50. And stop letting men in society convince you that it is.
You think Monae is concerned that her man is trying to go 50-50 and not being a provider? No, she's not. Do you know why? Because Monae is in her bag. Monae is getting her own check. Monae has her own bank account. Monae is taking her mama out shopping sprees on unlimited shopping sprees where her mama could hold her credit card. Monae is not worried about how much money her man got. What Monae is worried about in her relationship is the love, the attention, the affection that he showers her with. Apparently, everybody's freaking out because Monae McMichael's man is a 50-50 type of dude. He doesn't believe that the man should be the provider in the relationship. And honestly, I'm so glad that somebody is finally freaking talking about this. Do all women want someone to provide for them? Sure. Because it would be nice, it would be lovely, it would be great. Are all women expecting a man to provide for them? No, we're not. Would it be great and lovely and awesome and fantastic if one day everyone's husband came home and was like, baby, I'm going to take care of you for the rest of our lives. I'm going to do what I have to do. You don't have to worry about anything but things that make you happy. Sure, it freaking would. Is that the reality of the situation? Absolutely not. In fact, for families to like maintain, regular family things, like that means paying for your mortgage, being able to eat food every single day. Your family income now in 2024, it has to be above $100,000. So for most families, it is a 50-50 lifestyle. Both people have to work. Both people have to support the family in order to sustain the lifestyle in 2024 that people are trying to live and sustain. He's more like a sensitive man, kind of seems more like a little bit beta personality. I don't know him. I'm not judging. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that's the vibes that I get. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that lady on here that talks about like the black cat and then the golden retriever relationships. That is the vibe that I get from their relationship. So that is why for her, the relationship works out great. She don't need him to provide because she gets her own money. She gets her own check. Furthermore, ladies, do you really want to have to rely on a man for money? I mean, it sounds nice, but in reality, especially if you've been used to being a boss chick, an independent chick, to go from being an independent chick to having to rely on your man for the income and to having to go be like, hey, baby, can I get $20 so I can go shopping? That lifestyle, it just ain't for me. So the 50-50 lifestyle, it works for some people. Other people, it does not work because they want to be provided for. But if you are living that lifestyle where your man is providing for you, just know that he's expecting certain things in return, okay? That house need to be clean, them kids need to be taken care of, and that coochie need to be ready.
Y'all can recall me a pick-me, but I don't think what Jalen Noble said was wrong. I think that is crazy to think somebody's going to enter your life and take on all your bills, and then you label him a provider as a reward. I think that is unfair, and I think it is irresponsible and illogical. When somebody comes into your life, you want them to come into your life as a partner, somebody who tackles financial and emotional life together with you, somebody who says, oh, you don't got it? I got it. Don't worry about it this month. And then if something happens for them, you say, baby, I got you this month. Don't worry about it. Never should you ever expect somebody to physically carry all of the burden. Now, don't mix that up with 50-50. Because that's not what I'm talking about. 50-50 is actually not 50-50. It's 150. 100 for the woman and 50 for the man. I'm talking about a partner. Somebody who tackles every facet of your relationship together, including financial. Y'all gotta stop letting social media trick y'all into these unrealistic expectations. That's all I know.
But I honestly feel for Monae because this is like the time that she's launching her fragrance collab. But then it's getting ruined with all this discourse about Jalen and speaking up about providing and whatever, which I 100% think is completely taken out of context. And everybody who's getting pissed really doesn't understand what relationships are. And above all, relationships are what works best for people in that relationship. Yeah, they're public figures, both of them, so people are gonna be like picking and nitpicking. Like, it's not that deep. To some extent, I understand what Jalen is saying, and I think that video is definitely taken out of context, and people are just quick to jump, and they just can't wait to talk shit about people that are happy. If that is what works for Monae and Jalen, that's all that matters. Let's just stop nitpicking and then focus on yourself to find the ideal relationship that works for you.
So with all this Jalen and Monae drama going on, I just want to say something. A partner coming into your life should be a bonus in your life, an addition to you. When you enter a partnership or a relationship, you should be entering it whole. You should be whole within yourself, that you are able to provide for yourself. Let me explain. You should not expect anything from a man, number one. Number two, you should not expect anything from a man if you cannot give it to yourself first. Having a man provide for you the nails, the shopping trip, the spa trips, whatever, is a privilege, not a right. I know you heard that. It's a privilege, not a right. At the end of the day, I have my own job. I can pay for the nail trip. I can pay for the spa trip. I can pay for the flight to Paris. I'm my own sugar mama, babe. A man providing for you in terms of home, family life, that's different. But a man providing you luxuries, it's not a right. Now, don't get me wrong. If a man can do that and he wants to do that, he wants to pay for those things, he wants to pay for the nails, he wants to pay for the spa trip, he wants to pay for the shopping spree, go ahead, babe. I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to say no. But he doesn't have to do it. Like, in terms of home, family life, yes, 50-50. I'm not going to be with a bum either. But if you're able to provide all that sprinkle on top, I'm not going to say no. But he doesn't have to. Providing for your luxuries is one thing. Providing for your family, for your future, that's just me, though. That's just me. That's all I gotta say.
Stop trivializing the experiences of women, okay? Stop saying that women that don't want to go 50-50 are tricks or they're sprinkle. We all know that women give more in relationships than men do. It is literally expected. It is literally what happens based on like gender roles and the way society is just freaking designed. And then on top of that, you're telling women to go pay 50% of the bills. I will pay 300 million% of my own bills before I go in a relationship with a man and have to give 120% in that relationship for the rest of my life and then split the rent. Call me sprinkle, call me a trick, call me a hooker. I don't care. Call me transactional. But the transaction does not work out for me when I give 200% in every other area and 50% of the mortgage. Immediately, no. I can pay 300% of my own bills. However, I will not go in a relationship with a man and also split the bills when I am giving the most emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Why would I give so much in a relationship and then also have to pay 50% of the bills?
When it comes to this provider conversation, I'm so tired of having it because men are really not seeing the point. So ladies, I'm gonna need y'all help with this one, okay? Y'all let me know if I am correct, okay? Or if I'm tripping, okay? In most relationships today, women work. Like most women who are dating and even in marriages are not even stay-at-home moms. They have a job, right? So let's break it down. Let's put it on the fingers, okay? Here's men, right? Men go to work, or all men want to do is go to work and provide half of their check, right? Okay. Women go to work and they're providing half of their check. Okay. But if you live with your partner or spouse, who's doing most of the work at home? Cleaning, cooking, making sure the house looks neat. Based off what I hear from women, it's women doing it. The men are not. Okay. If there's a child involved, who has to do most of the child rearing and most of the nurturing of that child? Automatically the woman, right? Because women have kids. All right. So we already uneven in this relationship. All the man doing right now is providing half his check. Then when it comes to emotional support, because most men typically are not emotionally intelligent, we got the women using their time and energy for the emotional of the relationship. All right. So as you can see, women are giving more in this relationship than the man is. So how can this be made even? It would only be right for the man to be 100% the provider. Like it would only make sense because you're not giving anything but half a check. That's all you're doing. So you have to do something else because the woman is already giving her body, her time, we ain't even got to the sexual labor stuff. Body, time, energy, labor. She's giving all of this. And all you want to do is give half your check. Be fucking for real. Be fucking for real.
I swear I was going to leave it alone. I was going to leave it alone. I wasn't going to say anything about Jalen Noble because he's all over my FYP. But OMG, like, why does this have to be a topic of conversation every 2 to 3 months? Why? Like, if she loves it, I love it for her. I don't know. Like, if he's riding her coattails, he's doing a good job of it. He drizzle, that's how he feels. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of us are out here talking about sprinkle. He obviously has found his lick. Like, hey, you know, to each their own. Hustle. Look, ain't nobody mad at it, but I'm just sick and tired of hearing about it on my FYP. Like, can we please move on? Okay, can we move on? It's the same stuff all the time. If you don't want a man that's 50-50, then don't be with a man that likes to do 50-50. Like, I ain't doing 50-50 with a man, but that's my preference. Like, maybe she loves it.
Okay, so I'm just getting around to the whole Jada Noble podcast situation, and he inherently didn't say anything wrong. What got to me is when he was like, why is that the norm? Babe, you better ask the patriarchy. We didn't create that system, okay? Look in the history books. Women had to literally fight for the right to do anything. To vote, to work, to have their own bank accounts. Like, we didn't set that system up. It was the men's. So talk to them, okay? But if that's the way him and Monae want to do their relationship, that is their motherfucking business. I am tired of people getting on podcasts and telling us their business. Stop telling me that shit. I don't care. At the end of the day, both of them got more money than me anyway. But I do find it funny how a lot of people are chiming on the situation. Regular ass people that's not even in their, I guess, echelon or whatever you want to call it. But you're using this to kind of like dumb them down a little bit or like pick at something or like whatever because they just can't be happy and they just can't be, like, it's weird to me. But leave them motherfucking people alone. That is their motherfucking business. If that's not what you're going to do in your relationship, then don't do that. To each his own, like, literally.
Here are 5 reasons why dating a content creator as a content creator seems very unappealing. Hi, my name is Talia. We love a list over here, so make sure you're following for daily list. So I wanted to, attack this Jalen Noble situation from a different perspective. Not so much about what he said, and I'll unpack what he said and share my thoughts during Talia Talk Tuesdays next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern here on TikTok Live. I want to talk about how this entire situation reinforces my strong preference to not date another content creator. And for those of you who are not new here, for those of you who tune into Talia Talk Tuesdays regularly, you know my reasons. Number 1, honestly, this list can start and end right here. There is only one star in the relationship, and that is me. Number 2, balance. So content creation is a very fickle line of work, right? It ebbs and flows in terms of income opportunities. You're essentially a business owner, an entrepreneur. I find a lot of value in having a partner who has a traditional 9-to-5. I appreciate that stability and what that stability brings. I think about the last month of my life and how crazy it's been, right? You know, filing this lawsuit, doing all of this press, being on TV, hosting an author talk, preparing for another author talk at Essence Fest. I could not imagine having a partner experience and go through similar. Number 3, when both people in a relationship are highly visible on the internet. And, I'm a small creator compared to, Monae, Jalen. Having a partner who is also highly visible on the internet just opens up your relationship to more scrutiny, to more discourse, to more nosiness, to more disruption. And not only does it open up your relationship to the public, it increases the chances of your partner embarrassing you, having people look at you crazy, asking you, is this your man? Had that young lady's boyfriend not been over the internet, he would not be invited to be a guest on a podcast and to say things that makes the public make inferences about your relationship. And the dynamic in this relationship is already weird because of the age gap and the fact that she is clearly the one who earns more. Had he been a nobody, we wouldn't be discoursing about you. And I just don't want my relationship up for debate. I hate being embarrassed. The worst thing you can do to me is embarrass me. And by dating another content creator, another person who is highly visible on the internet, invites more of that. And listen, I see the trap of dating another content creator. There is a lot of money and opportunities to be had doing relationship content, putting your life on display in that way. I've long decided that I'm not going to do that for a check. That is not something I'm going to trade on for money, for opportunities. Number 4, how do I say this? For the most part, I find straight men to be highly unproductive on the internet. Okay, I think of all the men I follow on social media, very, 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 very small number. And it usually falls into the categories of like fashion or music. And most types of content that kind of falls outside of those lines, I can't stand behind. I can't have that represent me, okay? Because if they're not doing pranks, they're on podcast. If they're not doing podcast, they're thrusting hips. If they're not thrusting hips, they're putting on wigs and impersonating women and being misogynistic and arguing with women and espousing anti-Black, misogynistic, and queerphobic rhetoric. I can't have that associated with me. And on this app particularly, a lot of men just create content to be thirst traps and to be thirst buckets, increase their access to women and to whore. A lot of this content is just being fast. And listen, there's a lot of visibility, money, and opportunity in being a fine-ass man on the internet. And that's a lot of these men's content strategy. And number 5, piggybacking off of what I just said, not only are most of these men just being thirst traps, a lot of these women are thirsty. Have you ever looked through the comments of like an attractive man who is not being problematic on the internet? Have you ever looked through the comments? Some of you women, y'all need to be put in a corner and y'all need to be doused in a mixture of holy water and ice cold water. And listen, we are living in a world where it seems like the pickings are scarce and slim. So when you see a man on the internet who looks good, who's wiping down his kitchen counters with a Clorox wipe and chopping bell peppers, you be like, ooh, ooh, ooh. And you see, I keep the lustful, lascivious thoughts to myself, but some of y'all put it in the comments. Some of y'all go into the DMs. At the end of the day, it's between me and my man if he's acting nefarious on the internet, okay? It's between me and him. He's in a relationship with me. He's in commitment with me. So he has to be held accountable to me. But the thirst and the virtual panty throwing, don't want to deal with.
I would really love to hear what men are going to say on this conversation, because I just feel like, see, there were a lot of stitches, there were a lot of videos of women talking about this. I'm going to go find what men are talking about on this conversation. They will post this probably part 2 on men reaction. So let's hear what they have to say. Is it that this dude is saying right thing or is not? But I kind of listen to his other videos, the podcast he did on the page, and to me, I don't really see anything wrong in the things he was saying. To be honest, I don't see anything wrong. It's kind of giving I'm a soft guy. I'm in my soft guy era, and I have a woman that we understand each other. If I don't have today, she drops, I have, and sometimes she doesn't even want the money because I'm there. I kind of feel like in their relationship, what I've just said, because I don't really know them before. So what I've just said in their relationship is that they kind of know what they want, right? And they're giving each other what they want, right? Because when you're in a relationship with someone, I always say it's what you want. If you're not getting what you want from the person, you can never be happy. You can never be happy. You can never be satisfied. You just be sad, because if as a woman you want someone to provide for you financially and you are with somebody that is providing for you emotionally, is it emotionally you want to eat? Is it no? You want the person to give you money to credit your accounts, and it's not crediting your accounts. You are not happy. You're not going to be happy. So there's some women that they have the money. They are okay, right? So Most of them do not even want a man that will give them money again. They want a man that will just, rub their, you know, kiss their forehead. They know what they want. Probably she's getting it, and which is, if that works for her, it's fine, right? But it doesn't mean that I want that to work for me, because that might not be what I want in my own relationship. So when it comes to men providing, they are saying that they don't want to just provide financially. There are other ways to provide. Of course, there are other ways to provide, but the major provision is financially. As a man, you should be able to provide financially. Those other ones are bonus, yes, and it has to be there, because most of the time, when you even see a man that is very rich and is giving his wife money in church, he doesn't even have to ask, he gives her money, and the woman is not still happy. You know why? Because he's not providing probably emotional support that she wants. He's not there for her mentally. He's not loving her the way she wants to be loved. So even if you're providing financially, you still have to balance up those other provisions. You have to provide. That word provide is very wide, because it's not just financially, but majorly financially. I would say majorly financially, because I believe that a man is supposed to be the one to provide financially and also other aspects of provision. You should be the one to bring it out. You should be the one to be providing for it financially as a man in the relationship, right? So, but it doesn't just have to be financially, it has to be other aspects as well. You have to be able to balance it up, and it depends on what your partner actually really wants. If you get to ask your partner, or you get to know the kind of partner you have, and you see the kind of areas that they always appreciate you more when you do those little things, just try to do more of that, because probably that is what they want in a relationship from you, right? So when it comes to 50-50, of course you already know what my stand is on 50-50. I just believe that 50-50 is a scam for women. And if you're a woman and you're working 9 to 5, or you're going to work and you come back home and still do your wifely duties and motherly duties, and you're still splitting your bills with your partner, if it works for you, fine. But I just feel like it's not wise, right? Because your partner is just dropping that financial thing, and he comes back home and it's just being a man. You still have to bear other burdens that he doesn't share with you. And it's just so painful, because you are the one that is giving, you are giving more than 50, and he's just giving 50. He will tell you, okay, this is what I made for the month, and this is what I'm going to give you. This is what I'm going to drop for the house. And what are you going to do? Because you've already agreed 50-50. So I just feel like that 50-50 thing doesn't make sense for women at all. But it works for some people relationship, which I'm not against it, right? Is everybody with what works for them, right? But I will always hear my opinion and say that for me, I cannot do 50-50 relationship. I can't. You can't tell me to drop half of my bill and you drop half of your bill, and I'll still have to gather some other things that cannot is cannot be paid. When it comes to giving birth, when it comes to doing, some other things that women do. Anyways, what is your take on today's conversation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section, respectfully, as usual. And thank you so much for tuning in today. It's your favorite girl again, Maria David. And don't forget to like and subscribe. You guys, please subscribe to my channel. Let us get to 40,000 subscribers. If you like my subscribers are not growing, please subscribe. Just check if you're subscribed. If you are subscribed, if you have not subscribed, just click the subscribe button. It's free. Just subscribe and turn on the post notification bell, so when I upload a new video, you will just get pop up immediately that Maria has uploaded, right? And I'll see you all in my next video. Bye. Thank you so much.